Well, hello everybody, and welcome back here on Eiersholt farm. We are into late autumn now. We got completely rained out of mid-autumn, and yeah, quite a lot of the early autumn as well. So we've had a lot of rain, and the crops are still wet. However, if we take a little look at the weather forecast for today, I reckon this might indicate our best chance for the rest of this year, potentially, to get this harvest under the go. And as you can see, the wind is moving the trees, so I'm hoping that although it's cold, we're down to -1 degree, that we might actually have a chance. So here's our weather forecast, and although we're not talking sunny weather or anything like that, all the way up past 9 o'clock tonight, it's overcast. It's gonna warm up a little bit as the day progresses. So I reckon, looking at the following day, we got solid rain again all day Saturday, and well, Sunday there's a slight chance of some overcast, half sunny weather. So there is perhaps another small window, but I'm just looking towards the end of Saturday. It also looks like there could be snow. So I'm kind of hoping that today will be the day where we actually get our harvesting underway, but obviously right now things are still a little bit too wet. So we're gonna head over into our cedar shed. While it was raining, I actually parked the car in here under cover. Everything's stacked up a bit tight because because it was raining and we didn't want to get everything super wet, especially while we were working. Both of our cedars are back here, and I bought in some additional seed. We got some clover seeds because I'm going to change over one more grass field and turn it into clover, so that we are prepared. Then we have a nice large stack of canola here because that's going to be going in on some of the fields. However, we need to kind of get that started today as well, I reckon. And we have some barley, for winter barley as well, but that is destined for the field where the millet is still standing, so we're not going to be doing that anytime soon. We got some oilseed radish left over from finishing up putting cover crops on, and finally we have some a little pallet here of what is generic seed, the ones you can still switch around, so we're not going to be using those anytime soon. But we need to do a little bit of shunting in here in the shed, so that we can get cedars moved up, and I'll get the car kind of shifted out, and then we can get the T7 probably put onto the Pronto, and we'll put the Zerion onto the kernel and cedar here at the back. And then obviously we need to get some seed loaded into them, so we are gonna need our front loader tractor, the Massey Ferguson that we normally use for stable duties. But before I do that, speaking of stable duties, I'll just very quickly show you where we're at with animals. So we're up to 97 cows. Now obviously quite a lot of those are still newborn, but some of them are actually getting up in weight and will start breeding next year as well. So our herd is increasing. We might sell off, we got a couple of males, not very many, but we will sell them up. But if we take a look at the pigs, on the other hand, we're up to 356 pigs. It's kind of crazy. The breeding for pigs has just absolutely exploded. I'm not even sure how long we can hold on to them. You can see most of them are down in this sort of 1.6, 4.6 kilos. We're getting some of the younger batches here up to 18 kilos. I'm not, and then we got the original breeding population at the 210 kilos. I was planning to try and hang on to a good amount of the pigs. The males will definitely get rid of them, but I think realistically also some of the females, because the rate of breeding is pretty wild here. So I was hoping we could try and hang on to them until they hit between, I don't know, 50 to 100 kilos and try and sell them off, see what kind of price we get for them. So we are going to hold on a little bit more, but as you can see, our food estimate for the year is now 270,000 litres of pig food, basically. And that's a bit more than what we got in the last episode. We were talking about we could buy in pig feed if harvest fails completely, but I'm feeling a bit more optimistic today. So let's get this sheet shed here cleared out and get some seeders filled up while we're waiting for that dry crop. I will have to say, the moment we see the wet crop icon disappear, even if we're only halfway through filling these seeders, we're going to drop everything and we're going to go for harvest. So we did have a little bit of a dry spell, but it was in the middle of the night, and I used that as an opportunity to run the slurry out with the Zerion. So that's why it's back in here right now, ready for some seeder duty instead. So we are going to put the clover seed onto the pronto here, and we're going to, technically speaking, I guess I should have plowed up the grass first, but we're going to direct drill it on our grass field just over on the other side of the farm. After we bought the new and much larger grass field, field 33, I think that one field is going to be enough for us. So we're going to pick up some clover here. Now, last time I used the realistic seeder, I had an awful lot of problems with lifting these pallets, so I've taken the pallet fork from the CSZ pack here, and you can make it so that it doesn't collide when you drive into it. You can basically switch that off. If I just do this, I can, as you can see, I can drive straight in through the pallet, and on top of that, the pallet attaches, and we can still empty from it even though it's attached here. So we can get these clover seeds into the seeder. We can put things back down again much easier than before. I don't know why the pallets were quite so bouncy when we were dealing with them with a regular pallet lifter, but this definitely works. So if you are trying out the realistic seeder mod and experience some issues, that might be worth a shot. Now, can I reach from the rear here? It's going to be a bit tight, I think. Don't want to bump into a seeder. Oh, yeah, we are emptying. Better put some hazard lights on. There's a lot of machinery moving right now around the farm. Ah, I forgot. We still have alfalfa seed in here from putting that onto the field just outside the farm. So we need to get that unloaded first, because with the realistic seeder mod, there is no way to just mix seeds magically anymore. So while our seeders are running, we are gonna get a couple of tractors ready with trailers for hopefully when the harvest is gonna be ready, because it's not gonna be long now. It really can't be. We're up past noon and temperature is not fantastically high, but we can hear a fresh breeze, and I'm hoping it will be enough to dry our grain off, because we really do need at least some of this harvest in. We'll be quite desperate for corn if we don't get that sorted out. We actually got 3 fields that we need to try and get in the moment that we get dry crops. We got our millet, we got our corn, and we got our potatoes. In some ways, millet is, ironically, even though it's the one we've been waiting the longest for, is the one that's perhaps the lowest priority, because we could use other grains to mix into the pig food. We need root crops, we need those potatoes, and we need the corn to mix our pig food. We don't have a potato harvester. We are going to lease one, and we're going to lease a big one if and when we get to it. For now, I am getting things ready. Now, again, you might have noticed, obviously, we have 2 of these Aqualiner trailers. We're going to have 3 harvesters running. We do have an auger, so I'm going to press that in and dump into a truck as well. I think that's the only way we're going to manage. Fortunately, even with 2 tractors out seeding, we now have our Valtra, and we can use that one for hauling. The 8R can be the one that we will use to run the auger, which I don't know whether actually this one could run the auger. Either any of them could run the auger when it comes down to it. But so we actually still have a T7 sort of sitting, not quite. I wouldn't call it spare, because they are the ones that have now the highest number of hours and lowest service state on them. But we might as well run the tractors that has already been serviced, are managing okay, or a much newer nice Valtra here as well. So that's 2 tractors at the ready. We're gonna get our truck hooked up to our cramper trailer and use that one for grain coming in from the chaser as well. So obviously that means at least one of the agroliners we will need to use for the potatoes. The only thing I'm uncertain about is whether the trailer sides are too high. If that goes completely to pot, we're simply gonna have to either lease or buy another trailer. Desperate situation could be to use the IT runner with the lower dump it on the ground, and use a belt to move it up into a larger trailer. That might actually be an option. Obviously, with 3 harvests going on in parallel, normally I do try and keep running everything at ×5 speed, but it's a narrow window this time. So if and when this harvest is go, I am likely going to be dropping the speed down to single speed to give us a chance of trying to get our harvest in before the weather closes in on us again for what looks like potentially the rest of the year. So we'll get the 8R hooked up to the auger as well. I hope I'm not jinxing it all by getting everything ready now. The part of me is very tempted to fast forward, but at the same time we have seeding going on, and we don't want to sort of lose decent working conditions like this just because we want to see if the crop dries off. We are going to be working pretty hard on that harvest, and I don't think we're going to be able to finish it all in this episode under all circumstances. So no matter what happens, this will hopefully not be in vain. I really don't want to see a rain cloud popping up on on the forecast. Now I think once you're within the day, the season's forecast seems to be fairly reliable. Both of our seeders in the meantime are actually making really good progress. Things are going well in terms of getting our seeds ready. It's just this little bit of harvest now. So we'll get the CR10 with the corn header moved up here to the other end, so it's basically sitting ready at the edge of the cornfield. And I guess if we try out our ground measurement tool here, we still got humidity 37. I can't remember how far down it needs to go before we're good, but we have a little bit of time still, so keep crossing those fingers that we will get to harvest today. So as we can see, everything is looking pretty autumnal. We've got the corn sitting ready here. All the trees have turned brown. Our bale shed is full. Cows are still moving around outside, but we have put bedding down now, so they are able to come into the stable and warm up a bit. Over on the other side of the farm, we can see our kind of light green edge. That's our alfalfa field. That's been fertilized, and to the left of that, behind the building crane, we can see the field where we are seeding clover in right now. So it's just gone 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and if you look up on the top, we have finally lost the wet crop icon. It is time to get this harvest moving. That is us ready on some corn. I hope we get a good yield, but under all circumstances, it's going to be a big field to get through. Obviously the CR7 has a much smaller header, but we should be okay, I reckon. That's a bit of a relief. We got both of our fields harvesting. Now it's just getting these machines emptied and potato harvest as well. So one of the things I did while we were waiting for the last bit to dry, that I did kind of off screen, was to get our IT runner trailer and hook one of our large containers on it. So I think we'll bring that one up to the field along with the auger. In fact, we'll bring this one up first and just get the harvester to dump straight into it, and then we'll bring the chaser bin up and the truck as well, and then we got one of the other grain trailers can come down for the millet, and then we got the last Kroger trailer to run for the potatoes. That's going to be a little bit problematic. It's not an awful lot we got there, but we'll see how we get on. So obviously corn is fairly high yielding, it's a larger grain, so you get more litres coming out, and obviously that means that here at the beginning around the headland it's always going to be a bit awkward because we can't get across. We're just going to have to follow the track that's been cut and then keep up with the combine, trying to keep it moving as much as possible. It's not going to be perfect, especially not as we're going to have potentially 3 different harvesters going at the same time. I did get cosplay to work for the silage unloading of combines, But for this grain right now, frankly, I don't want to start faffing about. I just want to start getting this stuff unloaded, and then we can explore next year when we have a little bit better time during the summer perhaps, and where the weather is a bit more stable. But we are getting our first corn loaded in, which is great, because that is our future pig food, and the rate that those pigs have been breeding at, we're going to need this stuff. So we're going to park him up here, take the cover off, and then we can get the chaser bin up as well. But before we do that, I just want to bring a grain trailer down to the CR7 so that we're ready down there. I don't know how high volume millet is, so we'll see how quickly it fills up. So the CR7 is quite far around, but again, first cut of the headland here, we don't have much maneuvering space. We are kind of going to have to chase all the way around, but it's up to about 80% now, so by the time we actually catch up with it, probably very close to, or we will be full. And in the meantime, of course, the CR10 is chewing through corn over on the other side, so we're likely to see that fill up again pretty shortly as well. When I bought this field, I didn't actually think it seemed that large, but now that we're chasing around it, I'm realizing that this is actually a very substantial field as well. This one we are going to seed barley on afterwards. I think the plan was, I have it written down, but I'm pretty sure we were going to put winter barley on this one if we have time. Okay, so the CR10 made it first again, but we are going to still try and chase up the CR7 here as well. So the other combine over there will need to get emptied. It is filling a lot faster with the corn, obviously, than millet. But we are catching up now. We made it up past the pylon over on the other side of the field. It's a long drive, and I think we are getting to the point where he's cutting in. Yeah, he's making a cut in to get ready to unload, so timing wise that was actually okay after all. Just means our CR10 is sitting still for a little bit. I hope, yeah, the auger will reach into this trailer absolutely no problem. It's the one thing I hadn't actually tested, but no problem there. So there we go, nice reddish seeds from the millet. And we can see our T7 sitting ready with the container over on the other side. So that's the CR7 moving over there on the other side of the field now. Don't know what it is about this container making it so bouncy. I think it might be the mud on the field, because if I drive out here on the grass, it sits perfectly still on the trailer. But the moment I'm in on the field, it's almost like the bounciness of the mud is trying to affect the container as well as the trailer or something like that. Not quite sure. It's a little bit odd, but it's not falling off at least. And we better try and catch our combine so he can keep moving. But there we are. We are unloading corn for the second time, so we're already up to 20,000 litres coming off on the two-thirds perhaps of the headland. That's quite a lot of corn we're going to get off this. Now that we got the chaser bin up, we'll move the T7 down. We'll keep it close to the gate and we'll get that filled first, since it is here. So we do have two trailers, so we can keep moving the chaser, keep having something to empty the chaser into. So once this is full, we'll bring it down, get it emptied, and in the meantime we can fill the trailer. Obviously we're going to have to bounce between fields a bit, but we got trailers in position now at least, So even though the CR10 is probably going to fill again fairly quickly, we're going to pop down to the shop and we're going to lease ourselves a potato harvester. So here we are. We went big, even though it's not a huge field, but given the time we got, we don't want to be running on single or just 2 rows at a time. So this is expensive. It's costing us 26,000 euros to lease it, so we better get it up there. We used, I think it was about 20,000 liters to plant it. We're moving. I better keep up here. So as I said, we used about 20,000 liters of potatoes to plant the field, if I remember correctly. So I guess, I don't know. The most important bit is that we get enough potatoes to be able to mix into our pig feed. I don't know if we're going to have any to sell. We're certainly not going to sell them right away. We are going to dump them in our root crop shed instead. But we're getting our corn emptied here. We're up to sort of 15,000 liters, so that means the tank on the CR10 is going to be pretty close to empty now, and we will have almost enough space for another tank load. So there we go, he's folding back in. I'll keep going for a little while. And in the meantime, it is time for us to drive very fast up to field 14 with our Valtra here. So we are ready to meet our leased potato harvester and get that show on the road as well. No traffic that way. We are good. So, okay, let's go. So, good timing. The potato harvester has literally just arrived. So, we'll just briefly block the road here, but I don't think I see any traffic coming right now. So we can get him into the field, get started, and then we can pull in with the Valtra. And then we need to get down and empty the CR7 as well. So one of the things I was a little bit uncertain about was the height of the chute here, but I think we're going to be fine with our agroliner. So better get this thing going, see how we get on, how much potato is going to come out of this field. Now I think, actually, because we got the unload on the other side here, we actually want to go counterclockwise with this potato harvester instead. That will keep it on the outside at least, even while we're doing the headland rounds here. So I should have thought of that before I started, but we'll get it fixed. It has a very, very good turning angle at least. That is obviously one of the things it's designed for. And right, I'm gonna have to maneuver a bit, because otherwise I'm actually gonna hit a tree here, I think. Oh, am I still gonna hit it? Or can I sneak around it? Yeah, there's gonna be a little patch there that we can't reach unless we do it the other way around. But that's it. We've already got 1,500 liters of potatoes just from that little maneuver around the corner there. So I think we're going to get quite a lot coming out of this field at the end of the day. I think this is going to be filling really, really quickly. I think we're definitely going to need 2 tractors here. So I think we have enough money. We can buy another trailer. I think we're going to have to do that. But first, we need some more millet. Unload it. CR7 is just coming around to third round on the headland, and it won't be too long before we start doing some strips. Oh, might have crushed a little bit of grain coming around there, but needs must. We're in a hurry. There we go. We are getting unloaded. The CR7 has a big auger. Oh dear, I'm missing it now. I need to pay attention. Yeah, the CR7 seems to have a big fast auger. It's almost as fast as the CR10 one, which is pretty good because it means we're going to get this dumped fairly quickly, so we can get over and get the CR10 unloaded as well. And the potato harvester. It's all go today. This is going to be an intense harvest. It definitely is. So in the order that they filled in, it's time to chase some corn now before we move up and get the first load of potatoes out of that harvester. And in the meantime, I'm going to buy another trailer, because otherwise I think the speed that potato harvester filled up at, then we have quite a long way back to the farm each time to unload. I think I'd rather do that still than trying to dump them all on the ground up there and then having to lift them with a belt afterwards. If we can keep it moving with 2 tractors, I think that would be preferable. I guess now that we're in late autumn, it's already 20 to 4 in the afternoon. It's probably actually going to start getting dark pretty soon. I have thought about whether we should split the harvest over 2 episodes, but at the same time I reckon it's not actually too far off that it's going to get dark. Obviously with the darkness during autumn, it's not great for recording. It's not a lot of fun for you guys to watch, I think, because you'll see some lights moving around, and I think it would be preferable to be able to see what's going on in daylight. So I think we're going to do as much as we can in this episode, and then we'll kind of do a mini summary in the next one to see exactly where we got with, because I think there's a fairly high chance that I'm gonna keep going on this for as long as we possibly can. It is meant to start raining again in the evening, but I think we'll be still harvesting while it's dark. I hope we'll be done, but if not, I'll keep going until the rain starts again, basically. So we are using the milk contractor here. We have about 42,000 liters of milk, and I think we're simply just gonna go. They have a humongous capacity. Oh, did I just? There we go. The full lot. That is so. There is a €3,500 fee to come and collect it. So we would have made a bit more if we were bringing it down ourselves. But given where we are right now in the middle of harvest, that is still a good amount of money to be getting in. So we have paid for that fee. Milk has been collected magically. And suddenly we're back up to €233,000. These cows are really paying off now, but it did take a long time and a lot of effort to keep them fed. So we'll just get the combine stopped for a second so we can get some fuel in. Stop! So we were down on the last bar on the CR7 there. But we made it in time to get it refilled. And our worker is away again, harvesting some more of this lovely millet. So our pigs are not going to go hungry over the winter and spring. So we're just chasing down some potatoes in the T7. But as you can see, the shadows are starting to get a little bit longer. I don't think we have very much time with daylight left here on the map today. So we're starting to get to the part of the episode where I think I'm going to stop recording soon, because it's not a lot of fun once it starts getting so dark you can't really see what's going on. As you can see, our workers are now starting to put their lights on, so we are not far off a time when things are gonna get dark. Maybe I should put my lights on as well. There we go. I mean, obviously we can still see, but shadows are getting deeper and darker. And I think here, right here, with seeing our potato harvester running in, we still got a lot of work to do, but I will give you an update in the next episode on how it all went, how far we got, because I'm hoping we're going to be able to complete these before the rain returns, but you'll have to wait and see in the next episode. There's going to be a lot of tidying up to do after this rather panicky harvest. So from that perspective, there's going to be plenty to do. We also want to get these last fields prepared. Obviously, right over on the other side here, we got a big field of winter wheat that's sitting looking lovely and ready. But obviously, we have field 14 here, the large cornfield over on the other side of the farm, and our large field where we're harvesting millet on. The millet one we want to get winter barley onto. Field 29, I noticed it looks like that both needs lime and ploughing again. So that's going to be quite a lot of work to try and get done here during late autumn, to see if we can still manage to get canola seed in. If we can't, then it'll be a spring planting for that field, and we'll just take it as it comes. That's not the end of today. It'll just be a slightly later canola harvest. But with a view of a lot of potatoes coming in off of this field, I'm gonna stop my recording here, and I will see you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed seeing us getting underway with the harvest. For now, thank you very much from Overcord Gaming, and see you again soon.